If everyone please rise. Y'all would join me in prayer. Appreciate that. Father God, we come to you today looking at the beautiful sunshine, and yet we think across the land we lost 3 of our own in Afghanistan over the weekend. Father, war is a horrible thing. That war has come to our streets in many different forms. I look out here as I see we're going to award the sheriff an award for being 35 years with Wichita County today. And I think of the danger that the men and women in the armed forces and the public first responders, the dangers they serve from the citizens they are trying to protect. And it seems awesome that we'd have to keep that as a reality. It makes their job more difficult in trying to do that. Father, we ask that you guide this court, you guide the leadership of this state and the president and those with him. We are in a time that calls on resolve, and yet we have bitterness and anger and deceit among us. Father, I ask your forgiveness and ask for your guidance. Watch over all. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Y'all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Take your seats, please. I would ask that you all join me in that celebration of Sheriff David Duke. Sheriff, why don't you bring Kelly, who's been a big part of this, with you. Now, she hadn't had to put up with you for 35 years yet. Sorry. Order. All right. Certificate of Appreciation. This certificate is presented to David Duke for 35 years of service to Wichita County. Congratulations, you're reaching this milestone of service. Through your hard work, dedication, and loyalty, Wichita County is able to provide quality service to the citizens of Wichita County. In honor of your service, we are pleased to offer you a choice of anniversary awards. Please accept this gift as an expression of our gratitude for the contributions you have made every day. On behalf of the Commissioners Court of Wichita County, we commend you for your service and wish you every success as you continue your career toward your next milestone. Your commitment to Wichita County is deeply appreciated. The 17th day of June, 2017, signed by the members of the Commissioners Court. Sheriff.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I would like to say that, first off, I have been sheriff for 35 years. Thank goodness. I'd be totally bald.
Ralph's been the architect that
Matt, watch it. But just to be able to begin here as an 18-year-old and to being the county's youngest detention officer and in the youngest deputy sheriff has been something that a lot of people can't talk about nowadays, because in those days you could be in law enforcement at 18, but you took it by ammo at 21. So at 20, it was a real issue buying ammunition. So I had to get my father to help me out. He made a spectacle of it every time, so it was another story. But just the things to be able to see from the old jail I worked in, I call it the dungeon jail, compared to what we have now, is just still steps ahead, and especially going into what we're fixing to be going into is something historic for this county alone, not just something to be here long enough to see things have changed, see how the Commissioners Court has changed over the years to. From it's back in those days, I know 2 different sheriffs that just resigned and quit because they were mad at something in Commissioners Court and stormed out and walked out. I'd rather us sit here and argue about it peacefully, or have some good times with it, or just have good conversations about it and get the work done for the people. And when I say the people, I mean as all the constituents in Wichita County. This is obviously a nonpartisan court, and that's the way it needs to be, because we don't work for one political faction or the other. But we work for everybody. But it's been exciting. It's had its times and some dangerous times, and some times that you'll never forget some things that we see. But it's a very rewarding to be able to help serve the public and do what we do. I appreciate everything.
Well, we appreciate it. And Kelly, I know this doesn't leave, you don't just sit there and eat bonbons all day and all that kind of thing. You participate in this one way or another. If nothing else, being concerned about the dangers that he and his personnel face. And we appreciate you. We see that bright smiley face of yours at so many things, and it is appreciated.
Yeah, very much so.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks again.
David.
Yes,
Let me
sir.
get y'all's picture. I got to
Kelly,
learn how to turn off the video, turn on the camera.
My wife makes the actual. She makes the.
Uh-oh, Mark, how do you turn on the camera? Right there?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, now, y'all can act like you like each other. Why is my face on there?
Because we don't,
Backwards. Turn the camera. Okay, all right, now I have it now.
that's why you're not the other member of the court working the technology committee.
We'll get the IT, okay, one, focus.
Two's the next
Got
one.
it. Okay, I got it. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
I've never seen you hold it up there and your whole face is on there.
Are you going to send him that in a concrete or
I'm gonna give
asphalt
that to
frame?
Claire. Asphalt, it's cheaper.
Won't last as long.
If you don't drive on it, it will.
That's not true.
Make sure that's right.
Please, guys, please.
Yeah, that looks fine.
David, I'm gonna forward that to you. I'll have to figure that out later.
Give it to Mark, he'll take care of it. All right. I ask court to take action on the consent agenda, please.
Very lengthy consent agenda, Judge. I'll make a motion that we accept it as presented.
Second.
Well, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Number 2, motion to adopt a resolution expressing official intent to reimburse costs of projects relating to the construction of the jail and law enforcement center. What in the world does that mean?
Well, what that means is all those expenditures that we have made previously prior to the actual adoption can now be included in that cost. We did that, remember, for a couple of the other things.
Okay,
Go
I see what
back-
you're saying.
Yeah.
We can capture all the preliminary spending that we did.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
There are some time constraints on that, aren't there, Judge?
Yes, sir, but architectural services are not included in those.
Okay.
Architectural engineering. There's some things that aren't, we had looked at that 60-day look back on some of the other stuff, but this, they explained to us is not in that time frame. Okay.
Just like to point out, number 15, Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Wolf will be retiring this Wednesday from Shepherd. He's going to go ahead, and this is just another success story about how Shepherd touches Wichita County, because when Lieutenant Colonel Wolf retires, they're going to stay right here. He's going to work at the Edgemere Church of Christ and be involved in our prison ministry out there, All Red Unit, and Karen and Stephen are just a big blessing, Wichita County. Just like to recognize those two.
Right, yeah. We met her this morning, and Commissioner Harvey's going to, actually Friday is his retirement, Wednesday is his change of command.
Wednesdays is change of command.
Yeah, and Commissioner Harvey will present a couple proclamations to them on behalf of the court that were in the adoption today. She is a stay-at-home architect, Ralph, and does contract work for the Air Force, and has done that for years.
I try to do that. It's like Africa.
Yeah, well, Patsy wants some time of her own. So, all right, any other comments on the consent agenda? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 5-0. Okay, item number 1 is to review and approve the emergency and regular bills for payment.
We reviewed the bills on Friday in our work session, Judge. I'd make a motion that we pay our regular emergency bills.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Beecham to pay the emergency and regular bills. Any comments or questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 2, we won't take action on until 10 o'clock because that's when the bids were due in. Item number 3, is that the same thing, Nancy? Was it 10 o'clock on those also? Okay. Discuss and review jail maintenance projects and work orders. Lieutenant?
As of right now, we have 0 work orders open. 28 were completed last week. No reports of leaks at the annex with that big downpour we had, or downtown. So, other than that, pretty short list. I included a quote from Tom about that downstairs kitchen, but Nancy said we would probably hold off on decisions until later.
I can put it on the agenda next month.
Yes, for all the approval stuff. So, that's all I have.
Well, that quote was,
That quote was from February. I believe it was previously approved, but things have changed, and so I wanted to resubmit it just in case you guys have some more thoughts. You know,
How
some
much
things
was
have
it?
happened. We've voted on some other things.
how much was it, Andrew?
Sir?
How much was it?
It was $8,000.
Any way to limp through on that project?
What was that, sir?
Any way to limp all the way through and circumvent spending that money prior to?
The condition of that wall, as you all stated, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, we're gonna be cooking in there for a couple of years.
Yeah, we're still going to be in there for a few years, and my concern is I mean, I'm sure if those blocks eventually eroded away, the building would not fall down, but I still would not want a hole through that wall.
Well, the health department's not gonna let you do that.
Exactly right.
No, we can't. We have bread on the other side of that wall, and with nowhere else to store it, so I would hate for mold and other things to build up there. That's some of my concern, is just the health factor. Moisture causes some issues. So, but I'm also getting a quote from him for the floor itself, because I don't want to completely redo the walls, waterproof the walls, but then the tile be rotted, or the tile be bad, and then it sink right underneath the waterproofing.
Andrew, we just regrouted that, the tile,
Okay.
floor tile. What was that, Sheriff? Yeah, it should be in pretty good shape, because we
Okay.
just regrouted that a few months back. Sheriff, I wish Lisa Patterson was here. I cannot tell you how proud I am of your staff. When I came here, there were over 300 work orders that some of them were from 2003. And I cannot believe how hard they have worked to stand before this court today and say, we have no open work orders. None.
Well, I'll tell you, the part of that is obviously the court gave us a couple of maintenance guys to stay just in the jails. Those guys it should have been done 15, 20 years ago. We know that now with hindsight. But those guys, in addition to our inmate work crew, officers that take care of the inmates to go take care of the smaller things, that frees up the maintenance guys. You know, before we had bulbs out through the housing areas of the jail, it took generally 2 guys out of the courthouse maintenance, regular guys, to have to go deal with that. And it could be an all-day affair doing that.
Yes.
Whereas now, that's so much better the way this whole process works. And all I can say is going into the new facility in a couple of years, it should be a smoother transition if it continues that kind of atmosphere of getting things taken care of immediately instead of waiting 5 or 6 years.
Well, Captain Patterson and Lieutenant, they've taken ownership of that jail, and that's just such a huge difference. I mean, it's awesome, and I just want to say thank you. I really do.
Appreciate that too. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, guys. I know, I'll probably second what the sheriff said. Without David and Ray, this would not be as possible. Those two are phenomenal. I asked them, hey, can you guys take care of this? It's already been done. They are 2 steps ahead of me. I am truly
Bless.
I don't even want to say I'm managing them, because they know what they're supposed to do, and they take care of it. So thank you guys for those positions, and luckily we got to fill them with David and Ray, who are phenomenal employees. So
Kudos.
thank you.
Well, and you mentioned we added the additional jail officer to run another maintenance crew internally, and he's worked out very well, and that program has worked. It all goes together. And,
They work hand in hand.
yeah. All right, good enough. That no leaks thing sounded real good. All right.
Although we do have one in the copy room in the sheriff's office, that we're still working on.
Yes.
Is that thing leaking again?
Yep, it's leaking again.
Yeah, it's coming through again. It's been done.
Working on it.
Yeah, it's ladies' bathroom in the corner. I think that was the worst one. But it didn't start happening over 8 months period of time. When it started, it just went bad pretty quick. So they're working on it to try to take care of it.
Is that ladies' restroom in the, right off of the copy machine room in the corner? on the left?
Well, then a little hallway. Yeah, before you go straight to the copy machine room, making that turn.
It's all in that same area.
Yeah, it's all along the Southern Street.
Did the engineers look at that when they looked at the juvenile center?
They were supposed to, Judge, but I'm not.
Did they look at the area back that we're talking about where we had some concern about the rebar showing in the that was back in the sheriff's office when they were?
I don't know if they did or not. I'll have to ask them. I'll look and see.
Well, if you don't know, and
Yeah,
he doesn't know,
right.
I think I know.
Yeah.
But we seriously need to get that looked at before we cover up a problem.
Okay.
And that's been way too long. Okay.
And it's in that area below the main Southern Street stairs.
Okay.
All that underneath there.
Okay.
I redid that ceiling in there because I thought I had that leak fixed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should have put some asphalt on it.
Item number 5, discuss, consider, take action to accept proposal from Pierce Road and Bridge, or R and Bridge, it says, LLC for construction of Bonner Road Bridge in Precinct 2 at a fixed cost of $349,902.65 in accordance with proposal scope of work and specification from payment from general fund contingencies with the reimbursement from FEMA and Precinct 2. Commissioner Harvey?
May 2015, we lost Bonner Road Bridge, and we have been battling. Help me, Judge. The first quote we got from FEMA was the $76,000.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you couldn't even get a traco out there, and it's been a 1.5-year battle. Finally got some folks down here from FEMA that had a little bit of sense about themselves. And Sandra Santillana actually lives in Puerto Rico. When she got here, she was like a breath of fresh air because she said, we're going to get this fixed and we're going to get it fixed right. So she went through about 3 bosses of hers to get it fixed. The first one was, oh, y'all didn't take care of it, we're not paying you nothing, and etc. It's been a long battle, and Judge has been right there with me 90% of the way, but it's done. Our plans are approved, architects are finished, the engineers are finished doing the engineering. We went out to bid. This is the low bid. They do have a project that's ongoing currently with TxDOT, so they're a qualified contractor, that's what I'm getting at. And so we're going to vote today to approve this and get that bridge put back in and restore some kind of, I'll tell you what, the bus people that drive a school bus, they could wring my neck because they have to go way around to pick up a kid and turn around and go. And they just cross the ridge and get back to Burt before. It's been a big pain in their neck since May of 2015. So, and to the people that live out there on that road, I'm glad to get it done.
Yeah.
It's just been a long time.
You said 4 months is what they're saying on the project.
I think that's what I read. The construction's going to be about 4 months.
What is the payout FEMA versus us?
It's 75-25.
We're responsible for 25% of this
Yeah.
350 grand.
And we can use
We get some in-kind, though.
our in-kind stuff to. We don't have to lay out the cash. We can go out there and put some sweat equity into it. Is what I'm saying.
Will you be able to get pretty close on your 25%?
Probably not.
or no?
I was gonna
I
say,
mean, that's a
don't-
big number,
That's a big number.
yeah.
But hey,
Can you double check that it is 25, not 30? Okay. What I need you to do is get with Willie and look where you're gonna budget that, how much of that you're gonna be able to do in your labor and equipment, but how much cash, because the 75% will need to be returned to general fund contingency.
Sure.
You get that.
Sure.
So you need to look at, that could hamper, because that's somewhere in the $80,000 range. So 85, so listen.
that's why I think Willie had recommended that we take it out of general fund contingencies.
Yeah.
Because he didn't
No.
think precinct two had that much money in there, but we could budget for it if that's what you're asking.
Well, but I'm saying you need to come up with, out of your current 2017 budget, you've got to come up with that other money, or labor.
That's why Willie put it in there to take it out of general fund contingencies, because he didn't feel like there was that money in their 2017 budget.
Okay. That should not, okay. Willie had to come out of permanent improvement, I moved it to general fund contingency.
Oh, okay.
Okay, general fund should not be supporting that road and bridge project. I'm just saying you need to
It
look.
does it
at-
every year for all precincts, doesn't it? Don't we
No.
take money out of the
You
general
do-
fund? and put
You
it
do
in-
take a certain amount of money, but you've already gotten that money for this year. I'm just saying you ought to look at and prioritize what's
Okay.
happening in there and try to see if you can come up with that cash.
Okay,
And then if you can't, then we need to address that. But
all right.
this early
We'll
into
figure it
your
out.
program, I would think, that you could change that priority maybe and let something not happen. Okay.
Oh, well, we can do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
Okay,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely,
A road that you were going to chip seal this year?
absolutely.
That kind of thing, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Is there a second to that?
I'll second that, Judge.
Okay. You were the
I was
first.
gonna say, did I really make a motion? I'll make a motion. Go ahead.
Yeah. When I call on you like that and you start explaining it,
That's good
I
enough?
put you down. yeah.
Okay.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Harvey, second by Commissioner Lawler to approve the project and bid from Pierce R. and Bridge Company. Any comments? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Item 6, discuss, consider, take action to determine the construction methodology and delivery systems for the new jail and law enforcement center. Basically, I think what we had boiled down to do was design, bid, build. Our construction manager at risk seemed like the two viable approaches. We got an email from Kyle Owen out at Midwestern, who does a lot of their projects, said they had been very successful with CMR as a way to go with the project. And they were, by reputation, they know Harper Perkins, but they also, he felt like we had a good plan. And I did ask Kyle if he would, and Ralph, you might have to help me on this, but I would think besides the court, we might use a couple of people who have worked with. If we go that route and we do the evaluation of the qualifications, it might be a good thing to have a couple of experienced people in the area. I don't know whether that's allowable in that process.
Well, I think, as long as the court appoints the people, I think it'll be fine. I don't think any issue with that, but they're not going to take the action, they're just going to make a recommendation.
Yes, sir.
They would make a recommendation.
So what you're saying is that done by two members of the court and others, and then they bring that back to the Commissioners Court. It's not done in a work
Yes,
session.
sir, that would be, I think, very appropriate.
Okay, and they're going to make a recommendation. If we have 10 people, then they would recommend by the standard up to 5.
Not more than 5.
No more than 5. Okay. All right. Other comments, anyone?
Judge, I make a motion that we approve going to the CMAR, construction manager at risk for the project.
Second.
Commissioner Waller, were you going to say something? Or?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw a hand go up, but okay.
I can touch you, Judge. I don't
Thank
have to.
Watch it, he hit the hammer last time I touched it.
That's that's different.
I'll tap you on the shoulder if you miss me.
I don't have my big hammer. I must thought you were gonna be good today. All right.
And included in the motion, are you going to elaborate on single-step or two-step process?
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, all right. Explain the difference in single step and two-step, so.
Well, basically, on a two-step process, you ask for qualifications only. And you go through and you pick out the one that you want to try to work with, and then you go about, the next step is to work with the fee and general conditions of cost. The single-step process rolls it all into one. You ask for the qualifications, plus you ask for actual fees, plus you ask for general conditions, costs, those types of things for consideration. And you weighted, no matter what we do, we have to establish the criteria and then weight it according to what the board feels.
Right.
So either one will work. Both of them are allowed by state statute and government code, so just y'all's preference.
Mark, do you want to amend your motion for two-step?
Yeah, well, hang on, let's talk a little bit before we do that. Okay, the two-step gets everything done at once, right? Okay.
No. Step one gets everything done at once.
Okay.
Single step.
I'm saying, why would we not, given our time compression, why would we divide that up, then go through another period, and then there has been some disgruntlement, even potential litigation by somebody coming back in, trying to get in by offering a better price after you made your selection, and then they're coming back through. I would sure suggest that we go the single step unless somebody's got a compelling reason to go two-step.
It really ties your hands. Just remember when Janet was here the other day, she said, you know, she definitely would always go two-step because the first step, when you go out for request for qualifications, like you say, you might get 10 people in here. The problem is that whenever you get a price with the qualification sheet is, 90% of the time, the price dictates who you go with. And if you get somebody to come in here that says, hey, I'll do it for 3%, you don't even read their qualifications, and so if there's 3%. So what it does is it takes some of that out of it. You pick a really good qualified 2 or 3 contractors, then you let them price it out.
Okay, is it only them that gets to price it out?
The ones that you select, that's right.
Oh, so it's only that, okay. Meredith?
Pick the one you want to negotiate with.
That's correct.
I looked, Matt and I talked a lot about this week, and I looked into the CMAR one-step versus two-step. To me, it's because of your timeline, you can work with weighting the qualifications and the price and everything else in a way that price isn't 100%.
Right.
And it's not unsimilar to what we did on the medical contract. We weighted price lower than qualifications and other things that we wanted, so that regardless of whether somebody comes in with a 3%, that's not going to end up making it the end-all be-all if they clearly aren't qualified, because that's going to bring their score way down. So don't think of the two-step process as the only way to do that. My other concern with the two-step process, based on past experience, once we pick those 5 or whatever, however many that we've whittled it down to, and we say, okay, now we want those prices, you don't get to negotiate with those 5 during that process. You still have to pick your one based on the price then, and that's all it is. So I'm not sure that the one-step isn't, it's certainly what the county's used to in terms of bidding, because it's what we've done on all of our biggest projects. So I think you can work with that on the weighting scale and it would be okay. But it's certainly going to take us a whole lot longer if we do a two-step process.
Leah, I don't think we've ever taken price as a sole consideration on things like that. We've always looked at qualifications.
I was just talking about industry, typical standard stuff out there. It's just people just, you know, I can get a new transmission for $400,
Yeah.
or I can take it over here to Steve's and get one that's, I know that's right for $1,200. A lot of people roll the dice on that $400 transmission, I'm just saying.
I think this court's been very good at looking at quality and you know, what real value. Value encompasses all that.
Absolutely.
I talked to Kyle just slightly about that, and he said, echoed what you said, whichever method you use, do not let that price be your thing. He said, often if you get a low incoming price, then you're going to have a constant battle of them trying to do things that will add back to that profit margin. And
Although it's tougher for them to do that when you do a CMAR, because change orders are not as prevalent in the CMAR as they are in a design build.
correct. No, that's why I think we're leaning in that
Yeah.
direction. Okay. Commissioner, do you want to modify your motion to include a one-step or two-step?
Meredith, let me ask a question real quick. If we get RFQs in and we'll say we get 5, we can select one contractor out of that, then negotiate a price with one contractor.
Yes.
We don't have to do it with 3 or 4 contractors.
That's
You
right.
can only do it with
Can't.
one.
Yeah.
That's my
That's
point.
If you can't reach an agreement with that one contractor.
Then you can go else.
Yeah.
Then you go to the next highest bidder, the next highest winner of the
Qualification.
scale,
Yeah.
but yeah, you can only negotiate with the one.
Yes.
But we can't see in the one-step process the price until we select who we
No.
want to.
You will see price. You'll do it all at once.
It's all that,
Instead
you
of-
score all of it,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
including price.
So they're gonna show us our price in the one-step process.
Right.
Okay,
It's just combining it into your initial grading
Okay.
instead of waiting for the second step.
okay, gotcha.
I mean, I think that's fine as long as we don't let price, drive our decision. I think we can
Yeah.
do that.
It's going to, you're still going to look, if you do it the two-step, you're focusing on price. You don't get a chance to weigh it.
After you selected a contractor, then you focus on price.
Correct.
If you do it this way, it tries to take the price factor out of selecting a contractor. That's the whole point.
But price is a factor, and it's a
Yeah.
big
It is a factor,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's not the only factor, but it is one.
Yes. We can manage either way. And for time constraints, we can do it.
I'll change that motion to include the one-step process.
And I'll leave my second in place.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Harvey to approve construction manager at risk using the one-step process. Any other comments from the audience? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Item number 7 is discuss and take action on remaining outstanding construction issues at the firing range. Anything up in the air on it right now?
Yes. Got some prices on some new doors, crash bars, closures, stuff like that. If anybody knows anybody in town other than, I've already got a price from Texoma Builders and a price from MC Doors and Windows. If somebody else knows of another one, I need at least a third bid on that. Stuff's expensive. So if you guys can help me with another contractor to quote from, that would be appreciative.
Where are we at with the siding on our classroom stuff and bringing it to, tied into the underpinning, I guess?
Okay, the underpinning is still undecided. Talked to Kat Patterson, and she actually has some visitors at her facility right now that actually did that for a living. So we feel like,
I think that individual caught chain last Friday.
got what?
I'm sorry, he left our facility last Friday. I can double check and see if the other guy can take care of it, but I know for a fact, the person we are confident in has left.
Oh,
He's now visiting the Texas Department of Correction.
well, can we borrow it?
We could, but
Okay.
at the third floor, we're issued a bench warrant.
Okay. I've asked Garland Prince to get a hold of the guy that brought the trailer from Lawton Front for us.
Keith Meyer.
Yes, Mr. Myers, and get a quote for the underpinning from him.
Kevin Myers.
Kevin
Yeah,
Myers,
there
that's
we
it,
go,
thank you.
Keith Dyer.
Trinity
Kevin
Hughes
Myers.
Construction, I've already given them to go ahead on the porches and the ramps, so they'll get started on that.
Don't we need to underpin that thing before we put them porches on it?
Nope.
It can be done underneath it? I figured it'd complicate the job.
Might make you a little bit more difficult, but you still can do it. You just,
What kind of siding are we going to,
we were just gonna do metal right now, but aluminum, you know, the standard stuff, it won't rot. Because we're all talked about, once we get the new jail put in there, we're gonna try to do a facade on this building that would kind of match the jail. So,
yeah. But, I mean, we can find that siding, we're gonna have to take all the siding, or
No.
can we match it back in?
No, we're gonna match it back in. We got a guy from, I think it's Quality Manufacturing, Bobby Ladyman, gave me a guy's number who has ordered that siding to match the siding that's there.
All of the piers are in place under the buildings.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're setting in.
Yeah. Soon as the ramps are built, then we can pour concrete sidewalks and get all that stuff done. Once we get the sidewalks poured, then we will finish our parking lot, get it tied in good.
How well did that drain after the rains?
Drained very well.
Did it?
Had a little issue on the south side, but we need to go back in
Well,
and cut it.
yeah, waterway. We did the waterway on the north side, but because everybody comes in over that place where we put the asphalt on the curb, so you can go over the curb, well, that's kind of the entrance to it. And if we cut a waterway in there, it wouldn't be good for the job right now. But we'll do that just as soon as
But,
we get.
yeah, when we finish, because the main entrance is gonna be down there into the parking lot area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the natural flow goes back north anyway, doesn't it?
We still got some puddling on the south side, and it's because we haven't cut
We haven't
the
dug it
trench.
out
Yeah.
like we did on the
Right.
north side. Yes.
Commissioner, those guys did a great job in texturing those walls. They really upgraded that thing. That looks good.
Uh-huh.
I went in there and looked at it Friday.
Right
I
out
was-
there.
You know, I've seen people go in and paint that paneling, and it's okay, but this really upgraded that. It looks good.
Darryl Choate's crew, was that Smith or Easter? Smith,
Yeah,
both of them? They did all that with inmate labor.
I know, and it really upgraded
Look
that
good.
deal. Looks a lot better.
It was cheap. A little mud in a bucket and a sponge.
Don't say cheap, say inexpensive.
Frugal, they were frugal. How's that?
Inexpensive.
That class is kicking in.
Which class? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right, moving along.
Okay,
Oh.
you talked about camera systems and IT connection. We dropped that off when we were doing the planning. Now we're coming back into that. And one of the things I was gonna ask you to do was, in the next 2 weeks, have us a total cost on that project, because it,
Well, you can forget it. I'm not giving you a total price in 2 weeks. You've lost your freaking mind.
well, I know you can't.
Changes every
but-
day.
Well, that's kind of you know, this isn't Crete.
When you
This is
can
downhill.
get a handle on the courthouse, I'll get a handle on the gun range. Good luck.
It's a little smaller
I'm
project.
telling you, I ain't doing it.
Well, we
That's
approved
crazy.
we approved the budget. Are
We
out-
did.
Are we outside that, or?
Yes.
Not yet,
Are we-
not yet.
I didn't think we were, but.
How much was approved
20,000
20.
for?
underpinning and the siding and the ramps.
Okay, we had a total project price of under 600,000 at one time.
You told me the other day that you were over
That's
720.
what yeah, I'm just saying.
I don't
As
see
we
where we
talked
did
about,
that.
well, that's what concerns me. I'm just saying. I'll ask
We
y'all.
spent 40 grand on the gunite. We spent 10 grand on the erosion control stuff. We spent 10 grand on the asphalt.
We just need a
We
breakdown of
just
it.
need a
Yeah.
breakdown of it.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
But right now, I can account for about 50,000.
The
Okay.
20 was basically for the classroom.
Yeah, basically, it was for the building part of it.
Yeah.
We were gonna do flooring and ramps and
restrooms.
underpinning.
Did the second restroom get put in? Is that done yet?
No, it's not done. All we gotta do is, the only part we're doing, right, Matt, is the wall.
Yeah, they're walled
See,
off.
Matthew, you've got all of it. Everything inside the building is yours.
Okay. Well, Darryl and I talked about it. We just gotta put a wall in, and then that plumber that we hired, not Archer. Is it Archer? No, he's the electrician. Lane. Was it James
James
Lane?
Lane, yeah, they're
Yeah.
ones that are-
Oh, he's already run the pipe or something. All we gotta do is cut a hole in the floor and set the toilet. They've already moved the sink, right? No.
Does that give us 2 handicapped restrooms in there?
Gives you one.
Supposed to.
Does it,
You're supposed to
the
have
other one got
Supposed to have
102
two?
inches?
What?
Circle in the center to turn.
The other one did, yeah.
Okay, the original one did?
Yeah.
Well, the one we're building does, so that's good.
So you get two.
Yeah, when you're done, you should have 2
Handicap?
restrooms, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only reason we're building the wall in there is because beside the handicap pedestal, you gotta have that bar to hang on to get up. It's the whole purpose of the wall.
Okay. Kind of important.
Being able to get up and down? Well, yeah. You can get one of those lift toilets, like you get those recliners.
That might go well on late night TV. Okay. All right. Thanks, sir. Item number 8 is discuss, consider, take action to upgrade 4 cell phones for 3 patrol lieutenants and 1 patrol sergeant to a Samsung Galaxy 6 in the amount of $99.99 each, and increasing the monthly fee to $49.19 per line to add 2 additional lines to U.S. Cellular contract for 2 additional patrol sergeants at $49.19 per line, plus purchasing 2 additional Galaxy 600s at Galaxy 6s at a cost of $99.99 each to be paid from transfer of Department 560 supplies and operations budget as available to align determined by the county auditor. Sheriff Duke.
These are for our lieutenants and sergeants. We increasingly we've had these flip phones for a while, and we go through those things like socks. They're just the cheapest on the line. However, we're using a lot of the deputies who haven't used their personal phones to get photographs of individuals that are wanted or need to identify somebody on a traffic stop. Just the technology has changed so much that we get do our ability to quicker identify people or locations or houses, just different things that we have to look at all the time.
So Sheriff, we've already got phones.
We've already got phones.
So
Upgraded.
the upgrade is how much a month? What, $39.99 to
No.
$49.19?
I think that's correct.
Wasn't it $39 a month we were paying for the flip phones?
Yeah, Jill's making sure exactly what it was.
Yes, you're right, Lee.
So we're just talking about a $10 a month increase. It's not $50 a month.
Right.
Now,
But
I think down here it did say we had to get 2 lines because 2 of our guys didn't have phones at all, and we have to get them phones.
Okay, so
They're supervised.
we're adding 2 phones and upgrading 2 phones.
Right.
Okay.
so you're now adding $150 a month to a budget we discussed about our overtime dilemma and where it's going to exceed the total budget. I'm just saying, they didn't have phones before, so what would?
They're using their own.
They've been using personal phones.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
They've always been using personal phones. And, they're paying for it, basically.
Is there any chance when those people change shifts, we can rotate, they hand off a phone?
Well, I think we've tried that before, but then you get the same people that have to, that's looking for a certain sergeant because of information on fugitives. Then they have to pass to another sergeant who's on a 3rd shift, for instance. And that phone starts ringing, they tell the guy, hey, you need to contact him back in the morning or whatever. It just didn't work out well.
Well, but they're off shift. I'm just saying, I know this sounds small, but Sheriff, we have got to stop we keep pulling out of areas. When we met, we talked through those areas we thought we could transfer funds out of to help offset that deficit due to shortage of personnel and an excessive amount of overtime, not mismanagement, but pure, you've got to fill those positions. But someplace we've got to trim costs, and we keep adding things.
Well, good news is it's a huge cost, but although it is $150 more a month, it's something I believe our supervisors need to be able to communicate and do the things we need to do. But that's, once again, it's why we're requesting it, not demanding it.
Well, I was just asking, is there a different way to do it than just solve it by paying more money?
Carol, what do you think?
I think the only way that you're gonna be able to do this is, these guys, they take them home and they answer these emails that's on the phones, they answer texts a lot of times. I know if you're talking about a patrol lieutenant passing it on to other ones, a lot of times you have days off, you have everything in the world that goes on. We have to contact those lieutenants or sergeants or whatever after they get home a lot of times to pass on information that hasn't been passed on. There's things as far as policies and things we talk about on there, and everybody needs to be included in those emails or the texts that we put out. So it wouldn't really work out with us unless, again, they go back to using their own phones again, and that's what we've been doing here lately. They just use their own phones all the time.
And the flip phone, I mean, if we send out a picture of a fugitive on that flip phone, they can't really.
That's a no-brainer on the flip
I mean,
phone.
it just doesn't last, they
No.
just tear
No,
up.
no, that part I'm not. I'm just saying now we're adding 2 lines we haven't had. We're adding another 150 a month. Some place we've got to quit adding.
I think these guys are just trying to stay up with the modern day technology that we have, and that's what's happening.
Correct. But we have this other technology called, do you have the money to pay for it?
Yeah, but, I don't think it's right to ask these guys to give their phone number out
Didn't-
to some.
didn't ask them to
that's
do that.
snitching to them.
I'm just
They
saying,
gotta have
Kim.
a way to talk to them.
Okay, but someplace we have got to stop adding. That's all I'm trying to make a point. $150 a month doesn't seem like a whole lot, but you put enough 150s together, it becomes real money. And that's all I'm trying to say is we have sat down, you all have worked with, we're trying to look, and I don't know whether you all have taken that sheet the auditor prepared and gone through and saying, okay, we are physically going to stop spending out of these lines.
We look at those lines all the time, trying to figure out how we can cut costs all the time. Especially when y'all tell us all the time to cut costs, that's what we're doing. We're trying to find ways to do that.
Okay,
And we can
And
have
I'm
our
gonna
guys
tell
go
you-
ahead and continue to use their own phones, if that's what you're asking, so we can not spend money.
no, I'm just saying, is there another method to not using their own phones? Like when I get off shift, I put it in the box. The next guy coming on picks it up out of the box.
We've tried that before.
The biggest we've seen them do that is the wear and tear of those phones. They just wear out.
Well, yeah, but, yeah.
It's
Okay.
kind of like the pool cards we have, the line card. If you don't have to sign that card to somebody who maintains it, cleans it, takes care of it every day, but he parks it at the annex and he goes home in his personal vehicle, if you just leave 5 or 6 out there and somebody grabs one day, that's the same car that ends up getting, bumps and dings on it, don't know what happened. Gas line's always on the empty. It's just, they don't take care of it. That vibration in the front tire, they don't ever think about it because they'll think somebody else take care of it. It's just the way it is when you have a fleet that everybody shares or uses.
In the precincts, or at least at one time, we did a deal, when I got in that truck to drive it, I had to do a checklist on it, do it in the morning, do it again in the evening, turn it in, and I had to check off. I fueled it up, it didn't have any mechanical, and somebody had to read those. But
Sometimes, especially with the line cars, if the guy goes and gets a car immediately, he's already on an emergency call to go to Timbuktu across the county. They're checking all that list off, pretty much everybody checks the red lights whatever every day, so we maintain those. The equipment we have now is a lot better than we've ever had.
Well, it's only as good as it's taken care of.
Exactly right.
And somebody supervising checks on the care.
The supervisors do check the cars, but that's why we have a sign card, people that they're responsible for it. But I'm talking about in the past, when we just lined up.
Yes, sir.
You got to pick a car key, I want number 12, but it runs at least 90 miles an hour. Whereas the other 3 don't go 65 or less. So it's just man.
All right. This court, what's the desire of the court?
When's the last time we've been through all of these lines, Judge, on our cell phone to see who maybe had one a long time ago that's no longer using it, we're still paying for it, they don't really, I mean, patrol lieutenants and sergeants are definitely high priority on our list of somebody needing a phone, but who's carrying one that maybe not justifiable? That, to me, is the biggest thing, is to always move forward and cut off the back if it's.
I think if Megan or Jenny one, I think one of the two of them.
And she's pretty good about when I call over there, she's really good about you have this line or this line's open, or, I mean, they stay on top of that over there. She does a good job on that.
Okay.
Anybody know how many lines we're talking about? How many lines does our cell phone carrier provide us today?
I'm not sure. At one time it was 25, but it's creeped over that. Can I ask the court to take action on this request?
Yeah, I'd make motion we move forward.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Watts, second by Commissioner Beecham, that we approve the request as made. Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 9 is discuss, consider, take action to approve the purchase of an upgrade of Practice Master software and 1-year maintenance for the Civil Division of Wichita County District Attorney's Office in the amount of $4,710 to be paid by transfer from general fund contingencies. The line is determined by the county auditor. Ms. Kennedy?
This is the software in our office that we use to track all of our open records requests, all of our contracts, research, litigation. LGS used to purchase this software for us because when we signed a contract with them, they didn't know that we didn't have civil software and they were required to build this software. And so instead of building something, they purchased this for us. It was really cheap. It was like $159 a license. And we only needed 2 or 3 when we first set up. Over time, as we've used it, as our Z drive has gotten bigger, it's literally just a piece of software that's installed on our computer and we share the data off of the Z drive. So over time, it's gotten really, really slow. It takes me a lot longer to do work in it. And it does not work at all anymore at home or when I'm on the Wi-Fi around the courthouse. Just because it's not server-based, it's just desktop-based. So I looked at, because we will be adding another attorney soon, we will have to upgrade the software to the latest version to add another attorney anyway. So I was looking at those costs and what we could do. And then I was talking to Ashley about how much it has slowed down over the last year, and they recommended that we go to the server version. Originally, we had to buy another part of the software, which made it very expensive, and I wasn't going to ask for that, but they have recently changed their buying requirements, and we can now buy just Practice Master, which is the only piece we need, and we can buy the server version, get it upgraded for 5 licenses, which is both of my secretaries, both of my attorneys, and then 1 additional. One of our CPS attorneys actually uses it, can use it for now until we do hire another attorney, because she works on open records requests, but so it won't go unused. We will actually use that 5th license. But we need to put it on the server so that I can start working on it at home. What I end up having to do, I was telling Commissioner Watts, I gave him a preview of the software so he could see what it was doing. One of the things that it does for us that's incredibly helpful is it logs all of our emails into clients. So if you email me about a contract or about a research project, it saves it into that client file. So I can go back and track all of the communication, whether it's with a vendor or whether it's with you or with somebody else in the county. I can't do that from home, and I can't do it if I'm not sitting at my desk because the software is just not working in Wi-Fi. So I end up dumping a bunch of them into a folder on my Outlook, and then hopefully in the morning I try to do a few. But that folder got to be about 600. I mean, it's just taking me too long to get that stuff tracked. And so we really need to get this upgraded. When we signed our contract with Tyler, I told them about this software. They do not provide anything similar, and they're not willing to purchase this for us because they've been upfront. Unlike LGS, they've been upfront that this is not part of their software. So
Meredith, what does this do again? What do you do with this software?
So when you send me a contract to review, I open a file in Practice Master that is named by the vendor, like the Kratos contract that we recently did for cameras downstairs. I open a file called Kratos, and then it saves the actual contract into it, all of the drafts into it, and it saves every single email that I do in that contract. And it keeps up with the contacts, and it also can calendar, and it'll sync without.
So it doesn't provide you with any research or?
Oh yeah, I can run reports and I can do searches. So it provides me, that's how I do the end of the year report for y'all to show how much work the civil division's been doing in the DA's office.
Okay.
We do that through that software.
I was thinking it was totally different than LexisNexis, is what I'm saying.
It is completely,
Yeah,
no, it
okay.
doesn't, it does not do
That
bad.
stuff.
It has links, so, just like I have an Outlook add-on where I can save all those emails, it also has an add-on for the internet. So if I am doing research out there on the internet and I want to save things into that file, all I have to do is hit the link and it saves it. So it has that ability as well. Tyler actually I've suggested that they buy them so because they like the email tracking part of the software. So. I mean, we may eventually get Tyler to do more on the civil side. That's one of the reasons we joined that Tyler Texas Users Group. But for now, we don't have anything that is anywhere close to this for us. And it is used for the entire county. I mean, most of the work, there's hardly anything, bond forfeitures and seizures are actually through other systems. They're not in my Practice Master software. So really what's in Practice Master is what we do for the rest of the county. Open records requests, litigation, contracts, research, subpoenas that were issued, that are served on our clients, that sort of thing. Oh, the other nice thing that can come with the Practice Master server version is we'll be able to do some automatic calendaring. We can't do that now. We get an open records request in. My secretary has to manually calculate the 10 business days and get all of that calendared on all of our calendars. It can have some automatic calendaring so that can be automated, which will save her a lot of time. And we can also have some automatic documents. So similar ORRs or similar contracts, we are now having to send what's called an HB 1295 notice to all of our contractors to tell them that they have to file something with the Texas Ethics Commission. That was passed a few years ago, so we can automatically calendar that and generate the document if we upgrade to this server version. So it has some really nice additional features that will help our office greatly.
Good.
And like I said, I did a presentation for Commissioner Watts Friday, that if any of you want to see.
Yeah, amazing software and does a lot of things, and certainly helps Meredith keep up with what's going on and tying it all together, keeping it uniform together so she can go back and review. But I'd make that motion, we move forward with the upgrade of this software.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Watts, second by Commissioner Beecham to approve the item as presented. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 10 is discuss and consider take action to approve the hiring of a part-time temporary scanner in the Criminal District Attorney's Office for 30 hours a week at $10 per hour plus applicable staffing fees to begin immediately until necessary to help with the backlog of scanning files due to a regular employee being out on FMLA, with salary to be paid by transfer from $104.29 to $1,200, other salaries to line determined by the county auditor. Ms. Sheldon.
And I apologize, I normally stand when I address the court, but because of the camera above my head, I can see you.
Yeah, we don't want a workers' comp injury on a state employee.
Basically, this is falling in line with what I talked to y'all about the other day as far as asking for a full-time scanner come 2018. Right now, I have an employee that's out on FMLA, and so we are about three to 4 months behind on our scanning. And so there's plenty of money in my salary line to cover the cost even through the end of the year, I believe. And so I'm just asking that we be allowed to, that I be allowed to hire somebody through my staff as we normally do through the county, trying to gain something back on the backlog.
I'd like to point out something that I learned in our meeting with Ms. Shelton on this. It's not we're 3 months behind scanning documents that we're putting in a filing cabinet that we don't need. We're 3 months behind on scanning documents to get them delivered to wherever they need to go so that we can proceed with our court schedules. So it's not like document retention or anything like that. It's, hey, I got to get these scanned, get them. And it's not just scanned, it's scanned it's partitioned into specific, I mean, it's not, I couldn't go down there and scan without some pretty intensive training, so it's different, is what I'm saying. It's not just record retention, and you hush.
Okay. I'm just thinking after the photo deal a while ago, it's a lot of intensive training.
Well, one of the questions I had on this, Maureen, can we still get, we've had a lot of discussion on this particular item, a $10 an hour employee that is capable?
Sometimes we can. It just kind of depends on what they're looking for and what we're looking for. Actually, the two people that I have currently that are full-time started off through my staff and hired. And that's hopefully what we can do is find somebody. Sometimes it takes us going through 8 different people before we find somebody that's capable, that fits the niche. And what I'd like to do is hire somebody part-time, get them trained, and then if you approve the budget for 2018, have that person come on full-time. That way they're trained and ready to go from day one if that's what you approve for my budget. So, you know.
Well, I sure don't have a problem with hiring a person that is capable at $10. It's just seemed like very difficult to find someone. The new $10 moved to $12.50 a short time ago, and that's just that was my question, really.
Right, and that's what I've always done is at $10 an hour, and we'll see. And I guess if not, then I'd come back to y'all and ask for an increase because I can't find a qualified person. You know, it just depends on who wants the job at the time. Sometimes you can get somebody at $10. Sometimes you can't find anybody. Right. It just depends on the time of year and what other jobs are they get and what salaries in other businesses.
Right.
Any reason you didn't say 40 hours since you're replacing a 40-hour employee?
When that person comes back, that position will be full. I'd like to have that position remain with the district attorney's office to the end of the year. So that's why I asked for the 30. Okay. I mean, if you give me 40, I'd take 40. But
well, okay, no, if you're going to catch up, aren't you? Or at least you hope to. Yeah.
I hope so.
Okay. Okay.
So moved.
Second. How long before this employee comes back?
I'm not certain. I think it's one of those just kind of waiting to see.
But should you run 40 until she comes back?
Excuse me.
Bless you. I'd like
Thank
to do
you.
that if I'm allowed to do that.
I wouldn't. I mean, what would be the problem? At least keep her from falling behind.
Well, she also has money in her salary line to pay for it.
I would
correct?
say that's a smart way to move, and then let her reduce
I'll
that
amend my
position.
motion for up to 40 hours a week. And that way you can do 30 if you see fit or 40 if you need to.
Okay, thank you.
The other thought, Nancy and I talked the other day, and the lady we have out front, we had helped the district clerk's office in that position do some scanning. Don't know whether that would be applicable to this or not, but as we're doing that job development, but there is a scanner there in place. Generally, Commissioner Watts is the Commissioners Court member that looks over that position, so you all might visit about that, just see if that.
You're just saying that if they needed above and beyond work or help?
Yeah, in trying to do this catch-up, but if she, she might be able to, I don't know how many hours a week she can do it, but the equipment's in place, everything's there. That's.
I appreciate the offer.
And we did that for the district clerk for a while. So, okay. Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Harvey, a second by Commissioner Watts to approve the request, but add to up to 40 hours per week for $10 per hour and for staffing services. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 10 is discuss, consider, take action to approve the monthly mileage submissions from January through May 2017 by Constable Brewer, with subsequent submissions on prescribed form. Constable Brewer.
Judge, as you know, we've talked with y'all. We believe we have a form now in place to meet everybody's requirements.
It's my understanding that this is only prior to establishing a format for mileage tracking.
Right.
So this is what we're just paying for mileage that was turned in, that was just turned in general.
And on the condition that we begin with this month.
Correct.
Meeting that form. Anything else, I would say, then we
Moving
didn't
forward.
meet the goal, because the original agreement said this would be in place. Time slipped, it wasn't there. The other thing I did caution Constable Brewer about, because he has a lot of mileage in there called patrolling. And if we have a budgeted amount for that, he might have to cut back on his patrolling time and do that, because we have a set amount for that. And I didn't look at the percentage of how much of that's patrolling, but there was one or two you pointed out to me that was a significant amount of one day's work or something for some reason. But at any rate, I'm just caution that you have a budgeted amount. So I don't want you to do like one of our old-time constables tell me you bought a tank of gas and blew a tire that month, and it took all your auto allowance and you weren't serving any papers. That's not the oath that you took, nor is it the way you have done your business in the past either. But we did joke about that a bit.
I do have a bicycle if it becomes necessary.
Okay. I'm not sure what the rate is on bicycles, but any other comments or questions for the constable? Is there a motion then to approve this?
So moved.
Second.
I don't know why I thought we already had one. What was the vote?
Motion by Commissioner Harvey, a second by Commissioner Watts to approve the item as submitted. Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 12 is discuss and consider take action to authorize the county judge to sign amendment to architectural services contract with Harper Perkins. Ralph, I'm sorry I had you all sit there that long. I should have brought that up. With Harper Perkins Architects, a contract fee of 7.64% for the new Wichita County Jail and Law Enforcement Center, and to authorize Court Order 1706, and to as authorized by the Court Order 17.06.418, June 5th, after legal services review.
Judge, I just want to point out this second time that in this agenda here that it references the new jail and the law enforcement center, and we had kind of had a general consensus the other day that this was the law enforcement center and not both items, but we continue to reference it as
well, because we had before, I don't know as we made that, we can certainly designate that as the law enforcement center, but the sheriff was concerned after the action we took last week, we didn't include the jail or his offices, that we got both of those. And I want to be sure, I'd rather be overly cautious in approaching this because of the incredibly detailed requirements from here to the time we draw down that money, that we meet all of those requirements. So that was the reason I was. But be glad to have that and consider that from this, add on to that from this day on forward, we refer to this as the law enforcement center. Any if someone, if you make your motion.
Kind of splitting hairs, because the public's gonna call it the jail. But as long as we all know that it includes everything that it's included in it, I think it's probably a non-issue. But I do see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I read the sheriff's email. It was like, no, it's the whole thing.
But I don't want to leave that door open at all.
Yeah.
And for Meredith to have to figure out how to get us out of that by not taking some reasonably simple action. Okay, Commissioner Watts is.
Yes, I'd make the motion for you to sign the amendment.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Watts, second by Commissioner Beecham to approve the item as stated. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 13 is discuss, consider, take action to approve the county treasurer's reports for April of 2017. Authorize county judge and commissioners to sign the affidavit certifying compliance with section 11.4026C for April 2017. Mr. Hampton.
Gentlemen, how are you this morning?
Very good.
Got you some paperwork here. Miss Nancy. Nancy, thank you for being at the oral.
Now Haley was there too.
Yeah, her daughter was marching.
If you saw the breakdown that Karen compiled for you and sent over to you, you realize that we're 13% ahead of where we were trailing 12 months last year. And really give you a good snapshot, we're 16% ahead of where we were in 2015. And we talked about why that is last time, so since you beat that to death, I'm going to start giving you a lot of more financial stuff. In your package, you noticed a little weekly markup. I don't have a very sophisticated platform as I did when I was a stockbroker, but at least this gives you an idea of some of the things that are coming down. CPI is one of them, unemployment, things like that, which we've got a lot of financial responsibilities coming on you gentlemen, and I know you're all successful guys, but I'm hoping you'll ask a lot of questions to Mr. Wall and also Mr. Davis, but the essence of borrowing all of our money at one time, I think, is certainly something that we really need to consider. Obviously, the Fed is going to raise the rates in June. That's crystal ball thinking, but pretty well the market indicates that it will. So that means interest rates will rise, borrowing rates will rise, and so right now is a great time to be borrowing. End of the month for April gives you an idea of where we are financially. And also I gave you a snapshot of what I look at on my machine. This 25-year-old financial software that gives you an idea of what you spent under the credit line and your balances. So this is just something that I thought you'd like to know. And then, of course, the cash line, that's kind of a nebulous deal, but that's also part of my platform that I use. As Meredith said, Tyler. So, do you have any questions?
Road bridge.
Credit line is what you spent, debit line is what came in. You compare that with that spreadsheet that I gave you on your respective precinct, it kind of gives you an idea of what you've got in your bank account.
On the description up here,
Yes, sir.
Road and Bridge, Precinct 2, cash. Then on the next page, we have Road and Bridge combined cash.
That's precinct 5, Commissioner. which has always been kind of an interesting vehicle, but at least there's wish we could do something about this camera. It makes my hair look white.
This is a step better than making it look missing.
Well, I was gonna say, Commissioner, as I look at my backside.
I was getting ready to say.
You can tell me 100 miles off.
Okay, Bob,
Yes, sir.
100-101-1000.
That's your general fund, sir.
Account balance, negative $781,000.
As reflected on that large spreadsheet that I sent you.
That's generally not good. You have a negative out there.
Well, what offsets that are the 50 other sub-accounts that are in that general fund account. And some of those accounts are prescribed by law as not to be interest-bearing. The others are monies that are in that particular account, for example, bail bond board money. The sheriff's
So that's not our actual account balance for that account. That's just the interest-bearing portion of it.
That's what I look at on my screens. Yes, sir. And then you combine that along with that spreadsheet that I sent you. So it's a lot of numbers, but I just felt like you guys were going to be really in need of a lot of extra ammo. So not to confuse, but
Well, when you get a report that says that your general fund is in the hole $781,000, but it's really not,
it's not.
what good does it do me?
Well, that's what I look at. So that's the reason you have a county treasurer, so that gives you an idea to put all those numbers together and give you the report that is the overall report. But if you're just looking at one screen, that's what it says.
But if you go back over to the elongated sheets, the in total, as the champion said, is considerably better than a year ago. But it's not as good as it looks because it's got loan money in it.
There's nothing else in that line.
Chickens are going to come home to roost.
Bob, have you've got this in front of you there?
I do.
Big one. On the second page, this is April 30, 2017. I'm down in the precinct funds deal.
Okay.
And you're showing precinct 1 there with 100,000 in the prime best money market, and you follow that line on down and it becomes 200,000. And I can't find where that changes from 1 to 2.
Okay, let me,
That just jumped out at me. I looked back up the list there.
okay. That's precinct 1 and precinct 2.
Oh, so there's
Yes, sir.
so there should be another 100
Okay.
under precinct 2.
There's 100,000 in precinct 1 and 100,000 in precinct 2.
And see, I'm not showing
But it's
that.
not printed on.
It's not showing there. That was my question. See,
Is this what you're?
well, no, I'm looking at this right here. You know, in all these numbers, I can run them and they total to the total line, and that one was 100 and it's showing 2, so we're missing a line on precinct 2 there, I suppose.
Let's see.
See, it goes, you can go all the way back to I thought maybe it was over on the further end page, but there's not it goes from 100 there, and I've got that, but then I go to 200 here, and I couldn't make it. The rest of these all, they add, they're good. That must have just got deleted. Then it makes me wonder if that number's.
Bob, what is the difference on our limited tax note and our Pilgrim, which show these balances here, but on this sheet reflect these balances?
Yeah, this is where we are right here, Commissioner.
That's what we
This
owe?
is where we borrowed. And this is where we have in cash right now.
Oh, remaining from those
As
notes.
of the end of,
Okay, I got you.
end of May. So, once again, this is April, and this is May, but
Okay.
still
So
I'm
this
trying to
is
keep you up to date.
cash on hand.
Cash on hand. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And you thought we never looked at this, Steve, huh?
Well, that's interesting. What I'll do is I'll start printing you out this copy, and that way.
Well, I don't
I'll
know.
bring it to you.
I probably got all I needed, right?
Because you've got-
I'm just
you've
trying
got-
to understand
Yeah,
it.
you've got the first copy that is the summary account,
Okay,
which you and I are talking two different spreadsheets.
yeah, okay.
So I'll start bringing all of these to you. That way we're talking on the same.
In that,
Like I said, this is a interesting spreadsheet. That's the reason I gave you the short deal, because that tells you what you're looking at as of the end of May, which is 34
End of May or
days
end of
ahead
April?
where this Huckleberry is.
okay, now this only goes through the end of April, these,
Yes, sir. April
Okay.
of 17.
all right.
The thing that troubles me is when I'm looking at precinct funds right now because, you know, that's a little easier for me to track.
Sure.
Is, boy, we're all down. The trend is not our friend here.
Here's the end of it. This should give you a really good snapshot right here.
What am I looking at?
Okay, this is where you are.
Date
right
is
here. So here's your
April of
end of the-
17.
Here's
Okay.
your end of the April
Okay.
money right here.
Bill, I think that's the number I've got here, isn't it? No, that's 16. Let me look at 17. I was just comparing the two. 1549.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. All right. What about the precinct one number? What's your top 15? See, that's showing 100, and then precinct 2 is showing 1555. Yeah, there's your 100,000 right there. It didn't carry
Where did you get,
out of your total checking plus investments.
I got 145.
Well, that's what we, but his has got the 100,000. That's the one that's left off right there. I would assume. I would guess. But my point is everybody's funds are down from a year ago, pretty considerably. As a matter of fact, mine's $93,000 less. We got to quit spending money.
That hasn't been our trend.
No, but it's
Well,
concerning.
there's another way to look at that.
Okay.
You budgeted the money that you needed to do your work. Do your work.
Well, this
Money
doesn't.
doesn't do you any good in the bank, doesn't fix any roads. Your budget is put together for you to do your work.
Well, actually, that's not true. Money in the bank does fix roads. Money not in the bank doesn't fix roads. I'd say it's
But
the
if you
opposite.
leave
of
it
that.
in the bank, you'll
Well,
never
I'm
fill a
not-
pot of them.
We're not leaving it in the bank, that's my point, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Any other questions? Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, could I have action to approve the item with the correction of that 100,000 notation? and
yeah,
precinct?
motion to approve, Judge. Thank you, Bob.
Yes, sir.
Good information.
Second.
And to have you, court judge sign appropriate documents.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Mr. Harvey to approve the treasurer's report along with the correction to the balance in precinct 2. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. We are down to staff reports.
Can we do bids yet, Judge?
So,
It's
I'm sorry, yeah, we do need to go back to that.
9:55, so,
And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna, because I've got to make that 10:30 deal.
okay.
Head up the issue, well, not 10:30, the flight deal. I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and finish that up and take that to Mr. Muller if you'll
Okay.
take over,
We'll do
please.
it. And those will go under assessment anyway, I assume.
Why are we
Right.
going back to catch?
The bids, we didn't know.
We gotta pick those bids up. We can't do it till 10 is the deal.
Okay.
Because they're posted that way.
We're not quite at 10.
You're on there, but we will be in a minute.
Okay.
If we go ahead and give activity reports, we'll probably be there if we wanna do it that way. We're about 4 or 5 minutes out.
Okay.
Anything, Judge, for you?
No, sir. We do meet Friday, regular time.
10 o'clock.
But we do have a 9 o'clock meeting for part of us with the sheriff and others to discuss the mental health proposal from, that mental
Friday.
health proposal. for the-
Yeah.
Yes, sir, at 9 o'clock. Okay. If you'll-
Debbie, can you give me a
Got
breakdown
time
on what we
on-
spent on
Okay.
the gun range?
That's all we need is to approve those two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go back and get those.
We'll get you.
Public
Huh?
comment.
I'll look at it when I get back to the office.
Okay.
Judge, I know you're gonna ask if there are any voluntary remarks, and I wanted to tell you, we had an Oil Bowl game, it was our 80th last Saturday night. This is a fine group of young men. We had a good crowd. So if you missed the game, you really missed a good game, wasn't it, Nancy? Very exciting, and I had the opportunity to feed these young men Friday night, and so I went to that game with a thankful heart. That I don't have to feed those boys.
Did y'all do that at the Elks?
No, we did it at Mascat.
Okay.
And, but we did have one meal at the Elks. And if you miss the game, I know that a lot of people watch this. That's the reason I wanted to thank everybody that was not only there, but supported the game and advertised. Also,
Safe travel.
Reverend Paul Goodrich retired yesterday from the First Methodist Church.
Yeah.
The church was absolutely packed, and he preached his last sermon after 43 years. And in July, their new minister is going to be John McClarty, who is the son of Phil McClarty. He used to be associate pastor at First Methodist Church back in the 80s. So anyway, lots of
Bob, is the Oil Bowl not the oldest game of its kind in the U.S.?
It is the oldest, thank you, Commissioner. It is the oldest in the nation on high school all-stars. And Wichita Falls people, just like the Hotter Than Hell coming up in July and the Ranch Roundup, I mean, there's nothing older than the Oil Bowl nationwide, nor is there anything older in this community than the Oil Bowl. I think just Saturday night, though, the folks of Wichita County really responded.
I went to it several times in the old mid.
We had a great cooperation from the Sheriff's Department, had some really great officers out there. And it's all a matter of having a good time and looking after folks. But these are...
Sheriff's got his own linemen. I've seen them.
I don't think we're actually playing the game. We've got some linebackers and linemen,
Yeah.
running backs.
Well, Melvin Jordan said he could play linebacker one more year. But there was one linebacker on that East team that I would say that if he hit me more than once, I'd still be wondering what tomorrow was. One large young guy.
I really appreciated the picture in the paper that last week of the former Burt Burnett quarterback handing off to the Iowa Park running back. I bet he's never done that on purpose before.
And also appreciate our colleagues from the television. They were there,
Yeah.
supported us. Appreciate that.
Anybody else in the audience? Comments, questions? Commissioners? Mark?
Yeah, Saturday, we had the pleasure of cooking for the Wichita County Foster Parents Association at a Friendship Park in Burke. Had about 150 plus children, families all out. We cooked burgers and dogs for them. Just great day, great weather, good time. A lot of amazing kids. It was great to sit and talk to some of them and to hear their stories, to see their faces, to see them thankful for getting the meal and just being out and having a great time. So Really enjoyed that. Also, the Nighthawks won. Nothing against the Oil Bowl, but I was in indoor football where it was nice and cool. Watching the Nighthawks. One more game, if they win, we're in the playoffs.
When is it? This next week?
It's this next Saturday, not here. It's in Nebraska, I believe. This upcoming Saturday. You can watch it on YouTube. The games are quasi-televised on YouTube, so.
You had a nice breeze at the oil bowl.
You had a nice breeze. I had air conditioning, so.
It was nice.
Commissioner Harvey?
I'd like to go back to that Wichita County Foster Parents Association. The Redneck Culinary Academy, we cook for a lot of different groups. And Pat Stacy, if y'all will remember when we were going through our budget hearings, and Pat comes every year, and I think we give him $900 or something to help pay electric bill for the deal. And anyway, I've never seen anybody more appreciative. I thought he was gonna cry. He said, "You guys have saved us so much money. This money that you spent on this food, this meal, we now can spend on those kids." And I'll tell you, Pat Stacy does an amazing job with foster parents. He trains. He goes down to Young County. Let's see, I can't remember all the different places he goes. I mean, I don't see how he has time to do it. Plus, he has a full-time job. But absolutely a remarkable man. And I mean, he loves every minute of it. So just kudos to those guys. I appreciate Mark Beecham and Tom Moore and John Cerruti. We had 2 events going on at the same time. Luckily, they were down the street from each other. But in Burkburnett, we have a little boy. His name is Parker Leeper. And his mom is named Nana. And anyway, this little boy was born with part of a heart. We have 4 chambers. He has 2, but only one of his chambers works. So just the day before we were going to do the fundraiser, they had to take him to Cook's. His blood oxygen was 58. His heart rate was 200, and he had 103-degree fever. I mean, this kid is it's amazing. He's never been around other kids. He's been fighting this fight his whole life. He's always been around adults. And if you have ever spoken to a 3-year-old that sounded like a 25-year-old, it's Parker. First time I met him, he said, "My name's Parker, what's your name?" I said, "Well, I'm Lee Harvey." He said, "Well, Lee Harvey, very nice to meet you." I went, "Is that the 3-year-old?" You know? So we did do a fundraiser for Parker. Burke turned out, it was really good. We raised about $3,000 to help pay some bills.
Wow, that's good.
He's scheduled for surgery on the 19th.
Wow.
I think somebody said he had like 21 surgeries so far. He'll raise his shirt up and show you his zipper. This is my zipper. This is my pacemaker. It's actually a defibrillator type deal. And this is where I get to eat groceries, because right here I can. He doesn't eat. And he just talks to you like he's an adult. It's amazing. But I really want to say thank you to everybody who came out and supported that event for Parker. It was very hot, but very worthwhile. Now, Lee, we've probably all done the inverse of that. We've talked to some 25-year-olds that talk like 3-year-olds, but not necessarily the reverse.
Every Monday on here.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Watts.
Nothing, I don't have anything.
This lawn mowing is getting to be a full-time job again. This is about a
weekend.
3 or 4 day deal now, so, but that's a good thing. We're in great shape. Anytime you can go into the summer with full lakes in this part of the country,
That's huge.
that's huge. That's huge. All right, let's open some bids. We have 2 sets, I believe, don't we? And we got a
Bank bid and a
Yeah.
materials bid. Kelly, thanks for coming. See you.
What are we starting with? Are these road materials?
Yeah.
Road material bids. Of course, these will all go under advisement for acceptance at a later date after Willie peruses them. The first one is from T&G Construction, Inc. out of Lawton, Oklahoma, bidding on several different categories in the road materials bid.
You want to see it?
Second bid looks like to be from Zach Burkett.
This is Angus.
No, it's in Murray. I don't know what that is.
Same. Same scenario. They'll bid in several categories of road materials.
This one. It's gonna be from Wright Asphalt.
Right asphalt. They will also bid on numerous categories in the road materials.
Ergon is the next one.
Ergon. Sealing oil people. Same thing, several of the categories of materials, and Ergon out of Lawton, Oklahoma. Willie, will you need, what, 2 weeks on these?
This one's going to be from Mark Lancaster Asphalt and Fuel Supply.
Asphalt and fuel out of Tulsa.
I mean, put that in.
Yeah. Bid on several categories of our road materials.
Tricky. This is from DeLisi.
DeLisi. Out of Oklahoma City.
Long minute.
Oklahoma City. That may be the main headquarters, though. I think they've got a lot of locations.
Salvation Industries.
Salvation Industries bidding on, they're the reclaim guys, I believe. Yeah, the crushed concrete reclaim guys. They're bidding on, looks like one category. We've used a good bit of that in the last year or so.
Big City Crushed Concrete.
Big City Crushed Concrete also bidding on several areas of the materials. Is that it?
That's it.
I hear a motion to take these under advisement for 2 weeks. Got a motion, do we have a second? Got a second by Commissioner Beecham. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, passes 4-0. We'll turn these over to Willie for his assessment. And we will begin with, is this the banking?
Banking.
Depository bank applications.
And we've only received one bid from American National. There it is.
American National. Willie, what do you want? You need 2 weeks on
We only got one bid.
Yeah.
On the deposits? Okay, do I hear a motion that we take these under advisement, or
So moved.
second?
Second.
You got a second, Commissioner Beecham, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, it'll pass 4-0. Anything else to come before the court at this time? If not, it is 10:10, and I will declare us adjourned.
Gotta hit